Shane's Rib Shack for a Thursday Football in Focus. Geoffrey's going to join us. Geoffrey, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Got a good crowd of High Point Central Bison tonight. What has this team meant to you this year? All this fun you guys have been having?
It's been a good season so far. You know, we try to work hard during the off season, and I think we're pretty close to the goal, which is going to States. And you know, this game next week, tomorrow, it's actually a pretty important game because it's like a game in the way of our goal going to the States. So we got to pull off this game, and I think we'll be good.
Tell you one thing, I know it means a lot to you. This means a lot to you right now. You're just glad to be playing again because you had to miss some time.
Yes, sir. I sprained my ankle against the East Forsyth game, and I was supposed to be out for 2 weeks, but I came back a week early. So, and I hurt it again in that game.
Then you're out again.
Yeah, so I had to sit out 2 weeks, and I'm back. Came back last week against Southeast.
You're the kind of guy that's had to spend a little time on that DL this year, that disabled list.
Yes, sir.
That stinks.
Yeah, I missed 3 games.
You want to be in there as much as you can because you make a difference in the team. Because I look at your numbers too, but rushing-wise, you got to be up 400, maybe 500 yards at least.
Yes, sir. Yes,
in
sir.
that neighborhood.
Yes, sir. I'm pretty versatile. I could run and catch the ball. So,
With your ball game tomorrow night, we got so many Bison contributors here. We got Tim Gorman, wide receiver. We got Charles Evans, wide receiver. We got Jamel Mack at quarterback. Chavis Little, running back. Tell us where you're at in that formation. Where's your spot? Is it the slot? Is it receiver? Where are you at?
I'm at right slot. Yeah, slot and also running back.
So you hit the backfield a little bit too?
Yeah, a little bit. Couple formations. Yes, sir.
What's Jamel Mack meant to this team as far as his leadership qualities? And I know he's put up huge numbers, but take away the numbers, I mean, there's a lot more to Jamel Mack than those numbers too.
He's the basically center of the team. He's pushes up forward. He's the power to the team, and we all rally behind him. And he leads us every game, each week. You know, he's the leader on the team. So, you know, he's a really good factor. He's a big factor.
Are you a junior, senior, sophomore?
I'm a junior.
You're a junior. It's kind of neat what Coach Jones does too. I don't know who the quarterback's going to be next year. I'm not sure about that, but Coach Jones does a good job of getting. We talked about some other teams doing that this in the presence too, getting guys ready because you got yourself coming in for next year. You'll be back as well. You got Chavis Little. He's done a good job. This team will not be completely devoid, although you lose a lot of talent when this year's done. You guys are not going to be bare at all in the cupboard at all next year.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we got a couple JV quarterbacks. I think he'd be good by next year. You know, Coach Jones got him prepared, been preparing him on JV level, and he actually moved him up. So he's gonna experience varsity a little.
What's that kid's name? Any idea?
Larry McLean.
Larry McLean.
Yes, sir.
So he'll be possibly the man of the future.
Yes, possibly.
Heir apparent.
Possibly.
What do these other teammates mean to you as far? What about the guy we just talked to? Just talked to Tim Ward. Tim's on the defensive side of the ball. What's Tim mean to this team? Because he looks like he's got the kind of motor when the game gets going. We're on the sidelines. We're on offense. Let's put us in that position. We're watching the game, watching the defense, watching Tim and those guys work. He looks like the kind of guy we want to keep an eye on. Just wait to see what this guy's going to do.
Yes, sir. He's a power to the team, the defense. You know, he makes a play when you really need it. You know, 3 and outs. We have a lot of 3 and outs against Southeast when we really need it, so the offense get back on the field. And he just makes that play when we really need him. You know, he's a good player. You know, he's going to ODU next year. And,
what does Charles Edmond mean to the team? Because Charles came out, I was expecting Charles to be about 6'6". He's got some huge numbers out of a little guy. What's he mean to this team?
He's a big threat to this team, and we really need him, you know, to get this offense going. You know, he's really fast and really shifty. You know, he's a real
good asset to this club. He's got close to 1,000 yards receiving.
Yes, sir.
The numbers on this team, you look at this team's numbers. We talked with Jamel. He's got like 46 touchdowns, 23 passing, 23 rushing. Huge numbers. What does a team do? Here's a question I asked you. You can tell me the answer right now. What do we do tomorrow night as High Point Central if for some reason Catholic has an excellent game plan and somehow they slow down a little bit? Jamel Mack, what's the next result? What do we do next?
Well, we got 6 other guys. You know, we can pass the ball around. We can spread the ball, and we just got to pace them. You know, we're pretty fast offense. We got to keep the tempo up. If we keep the tempo up, then they get tired on defense, and then, you know, just go from there. I think we'd be pretty good, you know.
What do you think from your standpoint, the 3 losses? Do you think Central lost those games? Might have been because you weren't in there.
Yes, sir.
Injuries did have a lot to do with it.
We beat ourselves against West Forsyth and East Forsyth. I mean, we pretty much gave them the game with a couple turnovers and missing point afters. But I think me being out against Northwest and Amar, left tackle, being out, probably made a big difference against us not being able to produce on the offense. But I mean, that's
Once
pretty
you
much.
guys got everybody back, it seemed like it was a different
Yes,
team.
sir. Yes, sir.
It seemed like last week, Jamel mentioned that fact. You got everybody back at the same time last week. Even Coach Jones talked about that in the paper and some other resources. You got all the players back. Just seemed like a stronger team and a more complete team.
Yes, sir. Everybody back is just like the beginning of the season where we were running and putting up 50 points a game, 40 points a game. Everybody back, offense is rolling, and we're pretty team. We're a unit now.
What do you want to do tomorrow night? Going in, you got the team goal. Team goal is to get the victory, move on to round 3. Your own personal goals. I want to do this tomorrow night. If I can get these things done, I feel like I maybe had the game I wanted going in. What are some things you want to do?
Just provide for my team when they need me, make a play when they need me, get a couple touchdowns, and
It wouldn't be bad to get that one big play, too.
Yes,
one
sir.
big play could be a spark to the team and also a spark to you.
Yes, sir, right up the middle. Mm-hmm.
What about favorite class at High Point Central? Got a favorite class?
Well, I just came to Central this year, so I really don't know. But I guess the only people I know about is the class from last year. 'Cause I transferred second semester last year from High Point Christian. So
Did you? That's an interesting move, man. This thing's getting my attention. That's because so many times they got the guys going from the public school to the private school. You went from the private to the public.
Yes, sir. I went from the public to private back to the public. So
I got you. Public to private. And you were High Point Christian.
Yes, sir.
Man, I'll tell you one thing. We had those guys here last week.
Really?
You would really help that bunch. They're a good bunch of kids. But, man, you could be a good part of that team, too, man.
Yes, sir. I thought it was a better opportunity for me to get noticed.
Yeah.
On a
I can
recruiting level.
Yeah.
To play. And, also better myself on a public school level.
We've had some guys that done it. I mean, Rick Mack at Southwest Geoffrey was a guy that moved around a little bit. He went back and forth.
He was a great player. Play with him. He was really fast, really good player.
He was a little dude, but that guy could really move.
He had big heart. He's a big heart.
That's right. You got the same thing. We had Zach McClain here last week too. Now he was at Central and he went to High Point Christian. Remember Zach? He was a baseball player.
Zach. Yes.
Zach McClain.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But you were at Central, went to High Point Christian, and made the move back.
No, I went to High Point Christian my 8th grade year in middle school.
I got you. Okay.
And transferred last semester. Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Has there been what's a favorite class of yours been over the years, no matter where you've been in school? What's some of the favorite classes you like?
Math is my favorite.
So you're a math man. You like the hard stuff.
Yes, sir.
Got a favorite teacher over the years in school?
Mr. Porter. He's a technology teacher. Computer teacher. Yes, sir. Favorite teacher.
And what year are you right now? What grade? You said you were junior, right?
Yes, sir. Junior.
Gotcha. Keeping all these straight. Because Chavis is a freshman. You're a junior. Most of the rest of the guys are seniors.
Yes, sir.
Least favorite class? Is there a least favorite?
My hardest class right now is chemistry, but taking the time to study, then I'll be good. I'm pushing through it.
Here's a question. Nobody's asked you this before. I don't think I've ever asked this question before. This is a good one. Just thought of this one. Have you ever taken any work with you along the way to a game? You guys got to get here on Friday. Have you ever put any work with you, take any work to the game?
No, sir.
Believe it or not, I remember back when I was coaching some sports, basketball season, it seemed like those Tuesday, Friday night games, there would be students actually would take some work with them to the game.
Yes, sir. That's understandable. That's during the week. So
yeah, exactly. Hadn't you thought about that? That's an interesting point there, because it seems like you've got your academic ideas together, taking the chemistry. Where do you want to go to college when the college thing lines up?
Pretty much anybody that gives me a chance, like scholarship wise. But I would love to go to a D1 school. But whoever gives me the opportunity, I'll take it and I'll go with it.
Have you got a favorite college football team?
Yes, Florida State.
Florida State.
Yes.
You liked last Saturday night's game then?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Here's a question for you too, with them all out there. They're ranked in that bowl championship series for the championship game. They're ranked 3rd behind some teams that have one loss. Like Alabama's 1. Florida State's ranked 3 out of the top 4. Something like that's going to make you mad as a Seminole.
Yeah, they robbing us.
You haven't lost a game, and they won't give you that number 1 spot.
Yes,
Jameis
sir.
Winston. If you could spend one day with Jameis Winston, what are some things you would do? Some things you might ask that guy?
Well, ask him how he prepares for the game. Looking through film, what he looks for in the defense. To see his process pregame.
You watch him during the game, he squints a lot trying to get those plays, but when time comes to get the ball, I don't know if anybody I've seen in recent years has seen the whole field better than he sees the field. He sees it pretty darn. Sometimes he'll throw a bad pass, but everybody does, but he sees the game and sees the field so good.
It's great vision. He has great vision, yes, sir.
How about a favorite pro team?
The Eagles for the football and Miami Heat for basketball.
So you like the Heat for even after they lost LeBron James?
I've always been a Heat fan.
Going back when Dwayne Wade maybe won his first
Yes, sir.
championship.
That's my favorite basketball player, Dwayne Wade.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff there. Think the Panthers have a chance to still do anything, or is the season lost?
I think they can pull it out.
You think they still make the playoffs?
Maybe.
Got a little
They
hope there.
gotta work hard.
Going to get Mike Tolbert back next week.
Yes,
That'll
sir.
help.
Yes, that'd be a big help.
Well, they could have used him. I hate they lost that game last Sunday. That loss to Atlanta, just a tough loss.
Yeah,
to the
that
Panthers.
was really tough.
Enough to make you sick. You heard about this guy, Giancarlo Stanton, this week? Signed a big contract. Do you know what sport he's with?
No,
Giancarlo
sir.
Mike Stanton?
No, sir.
Baseball man. Signed a $32 million per year contract.
Ooh.
$325 million over 13 years. Comes out to $154,000 per game.
That's a lot of money.
It's amazing. I think Jameis Winston might make that money. We saw Jameis last year. He came for the ACC baseball tournament. Good baseball player, too.
Yes, sir.
Excellent pitcher. You lose your cell phone, you got no computer, you got no television, no nothing as far as communication goes. Dead time. You may be almost like we said earlier, be like you're up in Buffalo, New York this week and 8 feet of snow.
Yeah.
Got no communication. What do you do in that spare time? What do you do at that time?
I guess the only thing you have to do is work out.
Work out?
Do a couple.
I would work out. Sometimes I might do too. I might make a few notes. I might write a few things down on paper about what I was doing that day when all this stuff went away.
Yeah. Or just write some stories, like write a journal or something.
Yeah,
like,
journals.
Yeah.
No computer, so if you blog, you got to write it down and type it in later.
Yes, sir.
You got our card for the meal tonight, right? You got
Yes,
your meal
sir.
card. Have you ever been by our website before?
No, sir. No,
You got to
sir.
get by there. Check us out. I think you do well over there. Here's your final question for our young man tonight. It's Geoffrey Wall of the High Point Central Bison. Who do you give the shout out to for making sure that all this has happened for you? This is a great place to be right now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, who does the shout out go to? Made all this difference.
I give my number one shout out to God, and then next my parents. They pushed me through this process, and also getting hurt. I got hurt last year, a sprained ankle.
Yeah.
The other ankle, I have 2 bad ankles now, and my brother and my sister.
Did they
my
play?
family.
Are they older or younger?
Older.
They play sports.
Yeah, my sister goes to Carolina. She plays rugby, actually, on a rugby team.
She's tough.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she is. And my brother, he played for Southeast in high school.
What's his first name?
DeBoris. DeBoris Walker.
And he played football for Southeast.
Yes, sir.
Back in the day. So you could have been a Falcon. Well, but that was crazy last week playing against them, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Wow. I'll throw all these names. You ever heard of this guy from Southeast? He plays baseball now. He's a senior, but he used to live I think he went to some of the, like Ferndale or some of the middle schools in High Point. And you may have heard, maybe because you've been to a few schools yourself. This guy named Ryan Stanley. You ever heard of Stanley? Ring a bell? Ryan
No,
Stanley.
it doesn't.
Doesn't ring a bell. Doesn't ring a bell there. How about Charlotte Catholic? I know that rings a bell.
Yes.
What do you got to do to beat those guys?
Just got to execute. We know the game plan. We know what we set out to do this week. Looked at film, looked at huddle the whole week, and we just got to go out there and execute tomorrow. If we execute tomorrow, then we come out on top.
What's one thing Coach Jones tells you guys as a team every week before you take the field? What's the word that Coach Jones gives you guys every week? Is there something he does on a regular basis, kind of keeps you thinking? What does he emphasize?
Emphasizes it's a roadblock to what we want to do, state championships. We got to go out and focus. Just focus.
Yeah, the key word's focus, and
yes,
the key word is get around that roadblock.
Yes, sir.
And you got to put a roadblock up against those other
And
teams.
execute is a big word. Execute.
Focus and execute then.
Yes, sir.
And you got to make sure when you go into the game tomorrow to play Charlotte Catholic that you guys don't see a roadblock along the way when you're driving in. If there is one, you got to, if your bus driver, got to drive around the roadblock and keep
Yes, sir.
going.
Yes, sir.
Right on top of the Charlotte Catholic team. Geoffrey Wall, good job tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You got it. Keep up the good work. Look for a win tomorrow night. Do you
sir.
do any other sports besides other football?
I run track.
What event?
4x1 and 100 meter.
Looking for speed.
Yes, sir.
What's your time in the 40?
4.5 flat.
4.5 flat. Got